Aries, the cycle of constant defense is finally over. You've been holding the high ground for so long that your hands have cramped around the staff. But the Seven of Wands appears to tell you the siege is lifted. That weight of having to fight for every inch of respect or territory was a debt you were paying to an old version of yourself. You are officially unplugged from the warrior archetype that required a constant struggle to feel valid. As this chapter closes, notice the silence. You no longer need to justify your position or guard the gates against ghosts from the past. Your karmic debt of proving your worth through conflict is settled. This reset allows you to lay down the wand and realize that your presence alone is enough of a fortress. You are moving into a season where energy is spent on creation, not defense. The weight of the armor you wore to survive is staying behind. You are finally free to exist without the need for a battle. Leo, you've carried the heavy responsibility of being the strong one for a long time. But the Six of Swords is finally navigating you away from that stage. This is a mental transition, moving into calmer waters. The weight you were holding was the pressure to maintain an image or a status that no longer fits the person you've become. You're leaving the performance debt behind. This isn't a defeat, it's a strategic relocation of your soul. You are unplugged from the need for external validation that kept you tethered to an old role. The karmic clearance here is about releasing the exhaustion of being on for others. You are rowing toward a shore where your value is inherent, not something you have to demonstrate daily. The transition feels quiet because the noise of the old expectations is fading. This weight was never yours to hold. It was a role you played until the contract expired. Now, you can finally enjoy the silence of your own company. Sagittarius. The search for a destination has been a heavy backpack, but the star brings a moment of profound vulnerability and pouring out. You've been carrying the weight of having to know the way, of having to be the one with all the answers or the next big plan. The debt of aimless wandering is being replaced by a grounded sense of hope. You are finally allowed to arrive. This reset is about healing the exhaustion of the road. You are unplugged from the loop of always looking for the next thing because you've found the frequency within yourself. The karmic clearance for you is the end of the nomadic search for belonging. You are pouring out the old water to make room for fresh, clear energy. The map can be folded and put away now. You aren't lost. You've reached the point where the path finally breaks into a straight line. You have found the home you were looking for all along. Taurus. You've been in a cycle of relentless labor, often carrying the financial or emotional foundation for everyone else. The Eight of Pentacles shows that while you've mastered your craft, the weight of perpetual effort is what you're leaving behind. You've been paying a karmic debt of struggle, believing that nothing is real unless it's hard-earned and heavy. This reset is unplugging you from the grind. You are moving from the worker to the architect. The weight you were holding was the belief that if you stopped for even a moment, the foundation would crumble. But the cycle is ending, and the foundation is now self-sustaining. You have earned the right to step back and look at what you've built without the pressure to add more. The clearance here is about releasing the survival mode that made you a slave to the process. This weight wasn't yours. It belonged to a cycle of scarcity that is now dead. You are finally permitted to rest. Virgo. The cycle of trying to fix an imperfect world has been a heavy lantern to carry. The Hermit shows that you are finally retreating from the noise of other people's problems. You've been holding the weight of responsibility for things that were never in your control, paying a karmic debt to a version of yourself that felt guilty for not being enough. This is your unplugging moment, stepping into the quiet to realize your light is for you first. The karmic clearance here is the end of the remedy cycle. You no longer have to be the solution to every problem you encounter. By pulling back, you are settling the debt of overfunctioning and reclaiming your mental space. Your isolation isn't lonely. It's a cleansing of the weight others placed on your shoulders. You are free from the loop of being the world's auditor. You can finally let the world solve its own problems. Capricorn. This is the most literal clearance of all. The Ten of Wands shows you are in the final stretch where you realize you cannot take one more step with this bundle of responsibilities. You've been the pillar, the boss, and the backbone for so long. But the pressure is snapping, and you are being forced to drop the sticks. That weight was the debt of legacy, the idea that you had to carry it all to be remembered. You are unplugging from the burden of the shoulds. This karmic reset is about delegating the weight back to the universe. You are settling the score by realizing that a true leader knows when the work is finished. You don't have to carry the mountain, you just have to stand on it. The exhaustion you feel is the old cycle leaving your body. As you drop the burdens, you'll find your hands are finally free to reach for something new. The work is finished. Gemini. The cycle of navigating illusions and hidden agendas is finally at its end. The moon reveals that the weight you've been carrying was the uncertainty of not knowing what was real. You've been holding the debt of the unseen, trying to solve puzzles that were designed to stay broken. This mental fog is finally something you've learned to see through. You are unplugging from the confusion. The karmic clearance here is the end of the mental split that kept you in survival mode. The weight of the secret, whether it was yours or someone else's, is dissolving in the light of the new cycle. You no longer have to manage the shadows to feel safe. The fog is lifting because you stopped trying to control the tide. You are moving into a clarity that doesn't require constant overthinking. Your mind is finally your own again. Libra. You've been the ultimate balancer, trying to keep everyone else's lives in equilibrium at the expense of your own. The Two of Pentacles shows a juggling act that has finally become too heavy to maintain. This weight was the debt of harmony, the belief that if you weren't constantly adjusting, everything would fall apart. This reset is about dropping the balls you were never meant to catch. You are unplugged from the loop of people-pleasing and social debt. The karmic clearance for you is the realization that balance isn't something you do. It's something you are once you stop trying so hard. You are settling the books with your relationships and reclaiming your own time. The weight of the other is falling away, leaving you centered in your own gravity. You don't owe anyone a perfect performance anymore. You are allowed to be out of balance while you find your own center. Aquarius. The cycle of being the outsider or carrying the weight of a specific identity is ending. The Fool appears to show you are standing at the edge of a cliff, ready to leap into a version of yourself that has no name yet. You've been holding the weight of expectations, even the expectation to be rebellious or different. That was a debt you were paying to a social role that has now expired. You are unplugged from the black sheep narrative. This karmic clearance is the freedom to be absolutely nothing and everything at once. You are settling the debt of the past by realizing that the previous struggles were just a training ground for this leap. You don't have to carry the label of your history into the future. The weight you left behind is the why and the how. You are moving into pure potential. The path ahead requires no labels, just your presence. Cancer. The cycle of nostalgia and tribal debt is closing. The Six of Cups shows you've been carrying the weight of the emotional ghost, the expectations of your family or your past self. You have been paying a karmic debt to stories that ended a long time ago. This was a loop of reliving instead of living. You are unplugged from the old family dynamics. This reset is about leaving the heavy burdens of memory behind and moving into the present. The karmic clearance for you is the end of the emotional tax you've been paying to people who are no longer in your life. You are finally allowed to be the primary character in your own story. The weight was the way things used to be. You are trading that for the way things are now. Your heart is finally clear to build something new. Scorpio. The cycle of internal intensity and psychic debt is over. The Nine of Swords represents the weight of the things that kept you up at night. You've been holding the weight of the worst-case scenario, paying a karmic debt to a fear of being betrayed or destroyed. But the night is over, and you are still here. You are unplugged from the shadow work. This reset is the clearance of the crisis loop. You no longer have to be in a state of high alert to feel alive. The karmic debt of transformation is paid in full. You have risen, and the ashes can stay behind. The weight you were holding was just a nightmare that you've finally woken up from. The transition feels like a deep final exhale. You are safe now, and the ledger is clear. Peace is finally your natural state. Pisces, the cycle of being driftwood is officially over. The Chariot appears to show it is time to take the reins of your own life. The weight you've been carrying was the collective emotion of everyone around you, the ocean of other people's needs that made you feel like an anchor. You've been paying a karmic debt of sacrifice, but that contract has been voided. You are the pilot now, not the anchor. This reset is about focused direction. You are unplugged from the loop of going with the flow when the flow wasn't yours. The karmic clearance here is the end of the martyr cycle. You are settling the debt of saving everyone and finally saving yourself. The fog is gone, and the path is clear. It's time for you to rule the ship with total authority. You are finally moving toward your own destination.